Human beings, as much as we don't like to admit it, we're very judgmental. We are very visual creatures. We judge a lot based on how a person looks. And yes, personality, the spirit, the vibe, the packaging, what they have within, these are things that come well after we're done judging them based on their looks. Now, where am I going with this? This is how I grew up personally in my life from being a little boy to teenager, my adulthood, my younger years, the mid stages, the later years of my life. And one thing that's held really true to my testimonial here is that people are very cruel when it comes to judging you, regardless of what you do, right or wrong, but judging you based on your looks. This is a big one. And this is where I quickly pivot to get right to the point and to land the plane and talk about this and fly the plane is that your physique, your clothes, even how you smell, how you carry yourself, how jacked you are, these are things we call self-improvement essentially, right? So no matter what age you are, right? Obviously young adult, right? 18 and over. But if your kids or you yourself were enrolled in sports, dance, athletics from a very young age, consider yourself really, really blessed because these are disciplines and habits and as well as talents that you got to maintain and sustain and enhance and reach higher athletically speaking, right? So this all comes with a price tag and it's called discipline. Now, for me, I've been very fortunate to have been blessed athletically, right? Inclined. Most Indian guys, I'm Indian by ethnicity, are not athletically inclined. And I'm a Gen Xer. So technically, I am aged out of the market. I'm not supposed to be able to move this way. I'm not supposed to be able to play soccer at a high level. I'm not supposed to be able to do martial arts at this level, right? And when I say martial arts, guys, I'm not talking about competing or beating anyone up, anything like that, or getting into fights. Way too old for that. Obviously, I know enough to protect myself, but I do it for the love and the beauty and the passion for the martial arts because when your body moves a certain way and you connect with nature and the force and the speed, you realize how important mobility and agility is as you get older. Now, backtracking to what I was saying earlier, and I have a whole playlist you can check out. Martial arts, there's a playlist for that. Stretching over 40, right? There's a playlist for mobility drills. These are my day-to-day. At least on a once a weekly basis, I will do this. Excuse me here. But, like this, like for example, what I'm wearing is a polo collared shirt, very fitted. It's a size small, fits me very nicely, nice and snug, right? And I got this from H&M. Why am I saying this? I am saying this as an artist my entire life, presenting, being on stage, being in front of the camera. This channel is named Life Behind the Reels. Just growing up a certain way, I was always sort of put in that spotlight as an actor, as a musician, doing martial arts, right? Looking right for the part, essentially. So there's a byproduct of being an artist is this life here. And what a lot of people don't see is the preparation that goes behind the scenes to look a certain way. See, I fell in love with the process. I fell in love with the discipline. And I also fell in love with the Mamba mentality, right? I was always feeding my spirit. I was trying to feed my soul with this underdog mentalities because when you go on stage, you have to win the crowd, right? You have to win the affection and essentially validation of your fans back in the day, right? And so you go in there completely naked, essentially, like they don't know who you are. You have to fight the nerves and to perform a certain way as an artist, right? And you overcome that as a final product because what they're seeing is the final product on stage and they haven't seen all the hours. They haven't seen all the discipline, the sacrifices, right? In your diet, your stretching, the miles you've had to run, the lifting that you've had to do, the trimming, the cutting, the bulking, All of that to do a 5 6 minute performance, right? 10 minute show, most times average 10 minute show. And then in my case later on, when I broke off of my boy band group, I was in a dance group. I got into music videos, right, and camera production at another level. So music videos essentially became a short film. Excuse me, guys. It's 100 Fahrenheit outside, still in Las Vegas, Nevada, with the AC. I'm not gonna edit this. This is what you get. So coming back to all of this is that I built a brand. Essentially, I've built a brand. Like this guy is nearly 50. I turned 50 in less than 30 days, right? So these are some of the last few days of my 40s here. Now, I would be feeling some sort of way if I wasn't in the best shape of my life and then turning this big number, right? But what people don't realize today is the final product that they see me as, it didn't happen overnight. Is what I'm trying to explain. This is decades of work. This is decades worth of wanting to still put in the work. I'm not doing music videos anymore, although I can. I'm not writing songs and producing songs anymore. I can. I'm not really actively going out there and landing acting roles, entertainment gigs, and extra roles. If you know entertainment in Nevada, in LA, Miami, New York, Atlanta, these are very highly competitive fields and low paying jobs, right? With hundreds of people applying for one role. It's just much like the job market. It's a brutal industry. But I still want to commit to the process because I have fallen in love with it. So when you fall in love with the process, you all of a sudden program your mind to love the pain because you love what you do. So instead of creating this obstacle in your head, in your mind about, I have to work out. I have to go walk 10,000 steps. I have to drink a gallon of water every single day, right? Oh, I got to prioritize protein, right? Oh, I got to watch my calories and this and that. I talk about intermittent fasting. I talk about the carnivore diet, high protein diet. There's something called the sugar fasting diet, sugar fast protocol, the sugar diet. Very new. It's not new, but the concept, the way that sugar diet is packaged and delivered, you have to look it up for yourself, guys. I'm not going to preach on that, but I'll talk about that diet in another video. But I've talked about various ways to approach your nutrition. But first and foremost, it dictates your results, right? Essentially, you got to look good in your clothes to the best of your ability. Not everyone walks around with a full pack or a six pack, but you can at least have a level of leanness and have a nice flat belly that you actually look presentable in your clothes. Is that too difficult today as a man? Is that too difficult as a man? That's the least you can do. See, a lot of us guys, a lot of us actually, but specifically like now coming down to us brothers, us men, universally speaking, we are all overeating, most of us. It's hard to walk into a grocery store. It's hard to walk into a common social function and see how many in shape guys they are versus out of shape. And yes, I do see more guys today, like working on themselves and work in prog. And you can tell that they're actually carving themselves out, right? But it's still too far few in between versus the obesity. But I mean, I see dudes with like guts, like, and you're still wearing a tight shirt. Like, how could you be so disconnected? I wouldn't be happy to see that. I wouldn't be happy to see my gut protruding out in a social function because that's a sign. People, your eyes just go, boom, right there. That's what I do. And then I ask myself, is that, hey, is that someone I want to take advice from? Right? I've encountered this problem in corporate. I've encountered this problem in corporate. Like, in a good way. Like, I have added value to my managers, I've added value to my peers that are not in shape, frankly, and they have asked me about my diet. I have had Zoom calls and Teams calls, right? Afterwards, when it's over, they want to ask me questions about my lifestyle offline. And I welcome it. There's no secret because the secret really is your diet. And you just really dial down to when you boil it down to its core, I can already tell like in 10 seconds what your problem is. Because I have lived the process. I have lived the process in a life. This life is something I live by. I have a gym in my place. I spend 80-90% of the time in the kitchen. I know that when I put on a fit, I'm gonna go slay the social function today. When you wear suits, when you're walking into your client meetings, when you're walking into a social circle, I mean, even if you are having a nice evening with your girl, like New Year's Eve, anniversary, a ball, right? A big occasion, you got to be able to throw on a nice suit, a slim fit suit, and kind of get a feel for what it really feels to be in the best shape of your life. And a lot of times, guys, this process is boring. It's cumbersome. It's simple. There's nothing spectacular, colorful. A lot of times it's iron clanking on iron. Iron clanking on iron, if I'm pronouncing that properly. Weights and barbells and plates banging upon each other. You're going to be hearing the sound of your own a lot of grunting, puffing, huffing, running, right? Running, sprinting. I do sprints, although I hurt my ankle nearly 2 months ago and I'm still recovering from that. And I want to be 100% before I can go full steam again 100%. But guess what else I can do? I can walk. I get 10,000 plus steps every single day. Non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. If you're not where you want to be, we're already in July now, like almost there. If you're not where you want to be in your life, right? Focusing on getting in shape, building a good body, which entails a lot here, because a lot of us are stuck here, right? We are creating barriers instead of easily removing the fog and blowing the fog out of the way to realize your goal was right there all along. You are in your way, not your mom, your dad, your brother, not your family, your extended family circle, not your circumstance, because your circumstances, and I've learned from this, and although I still struggle with my past, my circumstances have not stopped me from investing in self-improvement. And that's very powerful because it's the one thing I can control and you can control is self-improvement. Getting in the reps, getting in a habit. You dial this in, this becomes your brand. This brands you. This opens up doors for you. This opens up business opportunities for you. I've experienced this in my corporate life, not just with my coworkers, but also my clients. I have had clients ask me about my self-improvement life. And once I drop the age on them, they almost collapse, which is why I don't want to attract that much attention to my age, but it is what it is. As it is, people have a hard time being in shape. And when I drop my age, they all of a sudden it's too much for them to handle. So I have to sometimes tell a white lie that, hey, how old do you think I am? And a lot of them will guess me to be in my early 30s. With a suit on, of course, I look a little bit mature. But if I'm in a t-shirt and jeans, I mean, I've gotten, hey, you look 28, 29, 30, which is a great compliment. I will take that all day. But a lot of this has to come from you. If you want this life, if you want to look good in slim fit clothes that are tailored to your body, it's a way to brand yourself in society. It raises your value without you even saying a word. It's your business card. You walking into a room, you don't have to be jacked and big and bodybuilding, but you got to be able to represent and exude. Without even trying, your energy is going to exude. It's magical. I cannot explain the feeling, guys. Like People look at you and they know you are put together. Like this guy, he knows what's up. He's got that discipline that they just, I mean, folks, it's very hard for men to get all the rewards in life up front. We have to build the value as men. Like when we were 18, we cannot land the hot chick. We cannot get the 8, 9, and the 10s, even in our 20s. If and unless we are investing in self improvement and building that body, which most of us are really not doing, unless you're a genetic freak of nature and you got it at an early age. But I'm talking about most men. By the time we hit 30, and if you've put in the reps, and you start coming to 32, 33, 34, 35 is where your prime now begins. 35 for most men is 21. 35 for most men is turning 21. And I made a video on this about why our prime begins at 35. Honestly, I started this journey at 31. That's when I first started hitting weights, like seriously. And I saw results fast. I put on a lot of size, so I started training for size and I blew up to 200 pounds. But I still could move. I was always focused on endurance, although I was drinking a little bit and I had some alcohol struggles my entire life. I'm a lot better today, mostly sober. But just kind of trying to show you where this ride, this roller coaster has taken me and dropped me and where I'm today. If you're going to take this advice, you can take it from an older guy like myself. And I'm not a bodybuilder, but I have a decent physique. I'm nearly 50, but I have a body of a 25, 26, 27-year-old. And that's what I get told all the time. I have some shirtless pictures on Instagram, YouTube. I have various shots of me training shirtless. You can see those and you can judge for yourself. So it's a great place to be, and I have testimonials. I have evidence to back this up. No testosterone therapy, no shortcuts. I don't put any kind of performance enhancements, PEDs, as they say, performance enhancement drugs in my body. I'm scared of all of that stuff, to be honest. I don't want to mess with that. I still believe in the organic, natural way of training. And if you do this on a consistent basis, 365, just say you hit 80% of the 365 and you miss a day, a couple of days, a month, here, there, right? It happens. But you still are going to experience the compounding effect. So your body, your physique, the clothes, your style is your blueprint. And that's a representation of you. Say no more is what the public and society will see you. I get this all the time. A lot of times I've landed my opportunities and job interviews even based on my presentation, based on your aura, based on your confidence, being able to talk a certain way. And of course, being able to back that up by the goods, right? What are the goods? The goods is your physique, your body, your mind. It's a connection. It's a connection. What you think and process here will reflect on the external in one way, shape, form, or the other. So if you are someone with that belly, chunky, right, slouching, you haven't worked on your posture, you don't focus on stretching, that's your fault. Unless you have some health ailments, then my bad. This is not directed at you. I'm just talking about general population here. Also, asterisk here is that if you have some pre-existing health conditions and some disabilities that I'm not aware of, folks, this is not for you. Like I wholeheartedly mean this, generally speaking, able-bodied men that are making excuses of why they can't. If a man like myself can, so can you. So the question is, would you like to be that guy that walks into the room, says less? Let the leads come to you. And when I say leads, opportunities, networking opportunities, you will connect in the room. Your energy will pull, attract, and in some cases, retract, right? Deter. Some people may not like you is because you're too put together. It repels some people. It's because, and you shouldn't take this as personally as you may, is because it's a reflection on them. You're exposing their lack of discipline. And just landing the plane and wrapping this video up is that everyone's personal journey, everyone has a backstory. Pain is part of the process. Pain is part of life. And some people get a really bad hand dealt to them very early on, mid, late. This happens. As much as your backstory is within your control and you are able and capable and healthy, feed that pain, the fuel, the anger, the rage into the fire. Because, guys, you get your body game up, you get your physique on point, a lot will open for you. A lot of things will open up for you. A lot of things will open up for you. A lot of doors open up. Things just seem to become a little bit easier when you're in shape, including your dating options, your day-to-day life. The ability to connect to the girl that you really like, you want, conversation skills, because this is the hard stuff. And it's no longer hard when you start loving it. It's the process. Like, you gotta love the process. I made a video on choose your suffering. If this is my choice, if this is suffering, all of a sudden I have turned this into pleasure, because pain and pleasure stem from the same area of the brain. Understand? If that makes sense, right? So I'm going to stop the video here. Hopefully some of this at least resonates with you, and you can take it from this 49-year-old guy. In a few weeks, I'll be 50. So I'm writing out the 49 waves and I'm going to try to put out as much content as I can. I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you for 500 subscribers. I don't know where this channel is going to go, but I'm here. You're here. You're watching this. Thank you. Until the next video, Mamba out.